I should have known the moment Brody's hand brushed mine across the candlelit table at Hidden City Bar that nothing would ever be the same. The city lights sparkled below us, but it was a fire in his eyes that burned me alive. Every stolen glance became heavier. Every smile carried a promise neither of us dared to speak aloud. We told ourselves it was just drinks, just friends, but the tension coiled tighter with every passing second. And when he leaned in that night, when denial finally shattered, I realized our secret was no longer safe. The Hidden City Bar wasn't the kind of place you found by accident. You had to know existed, whispered through word of mouth, tucked above a row of unassuming shops. The staircase creaked, leading us into a rooftop universe where lanterns glowed, music pulsed low, and velvet couches promised intimacy. Brody walked beside me, his broad frame brushing against mine as we stepped inside. He dressed casually, navy shirt rolled at the sleeves, dark jeans clinging to him like they were designed to test my restraint. One look, and the night was already dangerous. I told myself to breathe, to keep calm, but every step with him felt like stepping into fire. We slid into a corner booth, half in from the crowd, but open enough to watch the skyline glitter. Brody leaned back, one arm stretched casually along the couch. It should have looked relaxed, but the way his fingers drummed, the way his gaze burned into me, made my chest tighten. "Nice place," he said, voice low, almost testing. His knee brushed mine under the table, and I nearly spilled my drink. He smirked, like he already knew. I realized then, this wasn't just a night out. This was the moment I'd lose control. The drinks kept coming, but conversation blurred under the weight of our glances. Every time I looked up, Brody's eyes were already there, holding me, pulling me deeper. The candle between us flickered, but it might as well have been a fire feeding on our silence. At one point, he leaned closer, murmuring something about the view, though his lips brushed so close to my ear I forgot what he said. His cologne, sharp and warm, filled my lungs. I swallowed hard, trying to ignore the heat racing through me. Denial cracked, not with words, but with how badly I wanted him. A group laughed loudly at the bar, but it barely registered. For me, the world had shrunk to just us. Our knees pressed together, his hand inching closer on the couch. "Do you ever wonder," he asked suddenly, his voice soft but loaded, "what it would be like if we stopped pretending?" My throat dried. I should have deflected, laughed it off. Instead, my body betrayed me. I leaned closer, eyes betraying everything I tried to hide. His lips curved into the faintest grin, and he whispered, "That's what I thought." And just like that, the walls we built came crashing down. Brody's hand slid against mine, fingers brushing, testing. I froze for a heartbeat, then let my own fingers lace into his. It felt electric, reckless. The city lights outside blurred into nothing as the warmth of his touch consumed me. He leaned in further, his breath ghosting my jaw. "You're shaking," he murmured. "Because you're too close," I whispered back, though I made no move to stop him. Or not close enough. The words shattered me. His lips hovered inches from mine, waiting, daring me to close the distance. And in that pause, the truth between us roared louder than the city below. I didn't remember moving, only that suddenly his lips brushed mine, soft, testing, but enough to ignite everything I'd buried. My drink slipped forgotten to the table, hands clutching his shirt as if I'd drowned without him. The kiss deepened, slow at first, then desperate. His hand cupped the back of my neck, pulling me into him. Around us, music still played, laughter still echoed, but all I heard was the pounding of my own heartbeat against his. When we finally broke apart, our foreheads rested together, breaths colliding. There was no going back now. We had crossed the line, and I didn't want to return. Brody's thumb traced my jaw, tender against the storm raging inside me. "I've wanted this," he admitted, voice ragged, "longer than I can say." "So have I confess, the weight of secrecy crumbling in my chest. For a moment, silence wrapped around us, heavier than words. The bar, the city, the world outside, it all faded. There was only us, hidden but burning. He smiled, small but certain. "Then let's stop hiding." And as his lips claimed mine again, I knew we were done with denial. Brody's second kiss wasn't soft. It was claiming. His lips pressed harder, hungrier, until I felt myself sinking into the couch. His hand braced firmly against my chest, as if to remind me that he wasn't letting go. I gasped against his mouth, gripping his wrist, tore between pulling him closer and catching my breath. The laughter at the bar, the clinking of glasses, it all blurred into background noise. For me, the world had narrowed down to the taste of him and the way he made my pulse race. Every second with him felt like crossing another line, and I couldn't stop. When he finally pulled back, his lips were swollen, his grin wicked. "You have no idea how long I wanted to do that," he said, his thumb brushing across my mouth like he was memorizing the shape of it. "I think I do," I whispered, unable to stop smiling even as heat rose to my cheeks. Brody leaned back, but only enough to look at me properly. His arm slid behind me on the couch, his hand resting against the small of my back. "So why now? Why tonight?" The truth was simple. I'd run out of ways to lie to myself. I couldn't keep pretending. I admitted. My voice was low, shaky, but honest. Every time you looked at me, it felt like you were stripping away every excuse I'd built. And tonight, it was too much. Brody's expression softened, but his eyes stayed sharp, locked onto mine. "Good," he said simply, "because I'm done pretending too." The words sank deep, heavier than the whiskey in my glass, heavier than the city itself. My chest tightened, but this time not with denial, with relief. We had been hiding from each other for so long, and it was over. The air between us thickened, charged. He shifted closer, his thigh pressed firmly against mine. "You realize we can't take this back," he murmured, almost teasing, but I could hear the seriousness beneath it. "I don't want to take it back," I said without hesitation. Something in his face changed then, a hunger he no longer bothered to hide. His hand slid up my spine, fingers curling at the back of my neck, pulling me into another kiss that was rougher, needier. I didn't just fall into him. I surrendered. His hand wandered, tracing the line of my jaw before dipping to my chest, resting there as a feeling the beat of my racing heart. My own hands tangled into his shirt, tugging him closer until there was no space left between us. The music around us swelled, the bass thrumming in sync with our heartbeat. Every stolen breath, every graze of his lips along my jaw, sent sparks racing through me. We broke apart only long enough to breathe, and I whispered, "People will see." Brody's smirk curved. "Let them." For once, I wasn't afraid of being seen. I wanted the world to know. We didn't leave the couch for what felt like forever, tangled together in the shadows of the hidden city bar. But eventually, Brody tugged me to my feet, his hand firm around mine. "Come on," he said, guiding me toward the rooftop edge. The city sprawled below us, glowing like a galaxy of stars. Wind whipped around us, cool against my overheated skin, but his presence at my side was warmth enough. "Look at that," he murmured, nodding to the skyline. "Feels like the world's ours tonight." I turned to him, smiling. "Feels like you're mine tonight." And the way his hand tightened in mine told me he'd always wanted to be. We stood there, silhouetted against the city, his arm sliding around my waist, pulling me in until my head rested against his shoulder. It wasn't just heat anymore. It was comfort, safety, belonging. Brody kissed my temple, his voice low. "This isn't just a night, you know. I'm not letting this fade in the morning." I tilted my head to meet his eyes, the sincerity blazing there, stealing my breath. "Good," I whispered, because I don't think I could go back to pretending. And right there, with the city at our feet, we stopped pretending for good. The night stretched on, filled with laughter, kisses, and the kind of touches that made time disappear. Hidden City Bar had lived up to its name. It had hidden us, sheltered us, and finally revealed the truth we'd been too afraid to face. By the time we left, his arm wrapped around me, I realized something. The heat between us hadn't just exploded. It had burned away every doubt, every fear, until all that was left was the undeniable truth. We belonged together. And for the first time, it felt like the whole world was finally big enough for us.